We have all seen the many challenges that oil and gas companies face today, including rapidly changing oil prices as well as growing attitudes towards decarbonisation and the environment. This can be seen in Shell's Powering Progress strategy, which sets out how the company intends to accelerate their transition to a net zero business by 2050. But there is a substantial shift in the energy landscape in the way that companies are thinking more about digital initiatives. And we have seen an acceleration of the digital roadmap as companies need to become more resilient and agile. It's the insights, the actions you take and the solution you build around that data that will drive this digital change. And there are several drivers behind this evolution, including advanced asset performance management, managing complex supply chains, and health and safety of employees, and mobility, all whilst being agile. So if we start with a focus on resilience and agility, what does this actually mean for oil and gas companies? Well, examples of this include things like remote operations, field mobility, and automation. And as mentioned before, the pressure from stakeholders regarding climate and environment is impacting shifts in portfolio investments. And if we think about the pandemic that we're all learning to live with, access to technology and digital connectivity from a remote location have now become default requirements. And when it comes to things like mobility within upstream operations, enabling communication, access to information and real-time input of data and information is critical for productivity today. Enabling this mobility for workers is not new, but ensuring that information can be accessed for decision-making in real time with often low latency and enough bandwidth in a typical environment of upstream operations is something that is not always provided. Oil and gas supply chains are horrendously complex, with many components and participants, often disconnected, resulting in poor visibility end-to-end. Managing supply chains with greater intelligence to allow companies to adapt more readily over shorter time periods to internal and external change and threats, and to do that with efficiency is critical to delivering resiliency. We all know that oil and gas drilling is one of the most labour-intensive activities in the world. Health and safety is the most critical aspect of the drilling operation, and it is extremely dangerous, and oil and gas companies and service providers develop rigid protocols to minimise incidents. Barrier management is an essential part of this operational risk management, and effective management is very complicated because the information needed is often vast, complex and spread over multiple assets. So to minimise the risks, all employees need to have the appropriate equipment, have all the relevant training and safety certifications, as well as the appropriate barrier management solutions in place. Many asset performance management deployments are often siloed and merely monitor performance rather than utilising more advanced technologies. These platforms are often developed to be reactive rather than predictive and much less prescriptive than required. Applying analytics and visualization creates value through conditional monitoring, predictive maintenance and asset integrity management by lowering maintenance costs, preparing for abnormal conditions, avoiding shutdowns and managing unpredictable feed and demand. So the future of oil and gas companies is to be digitally native and cloud connective, and to embrace ways to improve operational efficiency across the entire life cycle, from exploration to field operations and field abandonment. And the main requirements from a solution include features including artificial intelligence, operational efficiency options, digital twin capabilities, asset performance management, as well as the ability to financially account for operations properly.